to DunnZWorld, everybody. I'm done. If you're new here, bring it in. Y'all should know the routine by now. Bring it in, bring it in. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna come to y'all because I got this camera set up really nice. I don't wanna mess it up. So I'm gonna come to y'all. I'm gonna give you a kiss, give you a hug. Welcome, you'll love it here. And if you're coming back, welcome back, fam. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? Y'all good? How y'all feeling mentally, spiritually, and emotionally? How y'all feeling? Go ahead and share that in the comments. Put how you feeling today. Tell me how you feel. What's going on in your world? Tell me how you doing. So today, we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of overseas contracting. I went on ahead and I wrote down a couple of pros and cons, and I'm gonna share those with you guys, and I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on them. Now the pros, of course, they outweigh the cons, in which I feel like when you're doing something, anything that you're about to take a major step in or step on doing, you should weigh out the good and the bad. If the bad outweigh, don't do it. And in which I tend to do that a lot when I'm making major decisions. So the pros definitely outweigh the cons when it comes to contracting overseas, but let's get into it. So for one, we're gonna talk about the pros first. And the first one is travel. Amongst making money, a lot of people contract overseas because of the opportunity to travel. Now, you have a certain amount of days that'll accumulate while you're working here or wherever you may be, right? And you can use those days to take vacation. You can go anywhere. It's better to go there than to take vacation and go back to the States. I'm not telling you not to, but it's just better to, especially in the purposes and time frames of when you have to file your taxes. So that's one. So number two is making money, of course. That's key, that's granted. Everybody comes overseas to make extra money. Let me back up a little bit. I think I'm too close. So another reason why people come overseas is to pay off debt. A lot of people, got themselves in some debt over the time frame of when COVID took place. A lot of people were quarantined, they were stuck in the house, so you had no choice but to spend a lot of money. So a lot of people have come overseas, a lot more have come overseas for the specific reason to pay off a lot of debt. And just, people that have recently bought cars or recently bought houses or maybe took too many vacations, they come overseas to pay off a lot of that stuff. And they also come overseas because when you take vacation too, some people use their credit cards, but then they'll come back to work and pay it right back off and go back on vacation and pay it back off and so on and so forth, which is pretty cool. Some people come over too, a lot of people are eager to come overseas to buy a house. They want to buy a house, they want to buy a car, and some people have, specifics as far as details of where they want the house built and what they want inside of it. And so it's a plethora of different types of styles that you could go with when it comes to buying a home, but it's not cheap. It's far from cheap. So that's a major reason too as well why people come overseas. Dream car. A lot of people will come over, save that money up, and they'll go buy their dream car. Some people come over to start a business. There are a lot of entrepreneurs that I've came across, investors in real estate, people who have a portfolio already within real estate, entrepreneurs that have started, what do you call it? For lack of a better term, I'm gonna say that created something like an invention. I've came across a couple of people, and it's basically like, actually, I don't think I'm supposed to tell y'all. So yeah, I've came across a couple people that have actually invented something, which I thought their idea and the product itself was really dope. And it's actually feasible. It would definitely play into it would be something that would be needed for everybody, all ages. I'm surprised they didn't come up with this already. What else? Of course, I've come across some people who are in the business of starting their own clothing line, a couple of estheticians, a couple of hairdressers. So this is like the pool for you to make your dreams come true. You understand what I'm saying? As long as you can budget, manage your money properly, like you can literally do anything with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish in life, right? It's because it all starts with having a capital. It all starts with having the money. So like I said, as long as you can budget that money, put it where it needs to go, and do what needs to be done, you can accomplish anything. Some people, so you can go to school over in the US, of course, but you wouldn't make as much, right? So a lot of people, they are going to school. People are in school here, and they're also making a lot of money. So some people are making, or let me back up. See, I'm talking too fast. Some people are going to school, right? But also to, and working. They're going to school and working, but also to get a better position and to go higher within their title, right? And so if you have the right credentials, so let's say I come in as, basically the level of at the bottom, right? And I go to school, apply myself, I get more certifications, I could possibly leave a manager, a supervisor. You understand what I'm saying? So you can definitely move up out here. You can move up as long as you apply yourself, you are network with the right people, right? And you stay true to what you know, you can move up here. You can definitely move up. Now, a lot of people only come over for a year. You have those people that only come over for a year. They don't look to make this like an actual thing, like a career, to where they're over here 2 and 5 and 10 years, because it's a very long time to be overseas. But hey, you know, they like it, I love it. But as long as you apply yourself and you network and you're being attentive to what it is that you're working on, or whatever field or position that you're working in, you'll move up. Especially with you going to school for that same position, you're gonna be successful within that. And then you have a lot of people that come overseas because of change of scenery. A lot of people they feel like everything that's going on in the US is depressing. You know, they feel like everything that's going on in the United States is not, there's no way that they could fully accomplish their goals. There's no way they could fully provide. There's no way they could fully maintain. So that's another reason why a lot of people come overseas, because of just the opportunity of getting away, the opportunity of seeing and meeting new people, doing new things, the opportunity of, I don't know if I said it already, but making more money, right? And just being able to live and maintain, right? So more of like a change of scenery. So that's a big one too, that I've heard a lot of people say as to why they wanted to come overseas. Now, the biggest of them all, of course, is to make money. But then you have the real nitty gritty of why people want to come contract overseas. So then you also have people that come overseas strictly just to network and get credentials and certifications and education under their belt. In which there's nothing wrong with that, because the more you network and the more you put yourself out there, the more people will know you, and the more people will want to reach out to you and get to know you more, and also call you in for an interview or want you to work for them. So networking is key. I tell people that all the time. Network till you can't network no more. Well, how does that saying go? Is it network until you don't have to introduce yourself, or work hard until you don't have to introduce yourself no more? Whichever one. It's either way. They both sound pretty dope. But we're gonna get off into the cons of government overseas contracting. So, and this is for the people that are married, have kids, and you know, are not too fond of being away from their family, because they're very family oriented. So that is one thing that I will say, you know, some people have some issues with, is just being away from their families and not being able to come home to, you know, a warm embrace of your kids or a warm embrace of your husband or wife. Excuse me. So a lot of that sometimes does get to people out here, and I will say that is a con as far as contracting. But like as I said before, as long as you apply yourself and you remember and know what the goal is, you will be just fine. You will be just fine. So some companies do budget cuts, and this is another con. Some companies do budget cuts. So with those budget cuts, they do lay people off. This is a contracting job. These contracting jobs are not guaranteed. You can be laid off for any reason at any point at any time, and that is what it is. So I tell people that as well. Don't get your hopes up of thinking that, you know, this is like a forever thing. It can be, but it goes back to you applying yourself and making sure that you are gaining knowledge, networking, and making sure that you're putting yourself out there, right? So don't get over here and think, oh, you know, I'm just gonna ride this out till the wheels fall off. No, you could be over here possibly 3-4 months, and then they hand you a piece of paper and say you gotta go. So just be mindful that this is not a permanent, this is, you're at will to the contract of this company. And that means you can get let go at any time. So one of the biggest things as far as cons go that I will say that I'm gonna touch on, and it's probably the last, it's probably the last thing. So a lot of people get distracted. A lot of people get distracted when they get out here. So, and what I mean by that is you get distracted with how much money is coming in, right? So you want to take all these trips, you want to buy jewelry, you want to buy cars, you want to buy houses, and then before you look up, you have no money, right? You haven't saved anything up. So guess what? Guess what now needs to happen? Now you have to stay here longer. You got to stay another year, and then you stay another year and you mess around and you do the same thing over again. So guess what? Now you got to stay another year. So you got to really be mindful of what the goal is, right? What the goal is, and money manage. You have to money manage till you can't manage it no more. Money manage down to the penny, right? Because if not, you're gonna look up and you don't have no money to show for your time of being overseas and contracting. Now, if your whole goal out the gate was to come overseas and buy a car and buy a house and then pay it off over the years, then yeah, okay. But you know, you taking trips and you buying a house and you know what I'm saying, and you just don't have nothing to show other than the fact that you bought a house, but now you gotta work extra because you was only trying to be here for a year. You understand what I'm saying? So just plan accordingly to what your goals are and make sure you're budgeting and managing your money properly, because it is way too easy to get distracted on the things that you want versus the things that you need. So that wraps up all the pros and cons that I wrote down when I first made the decision to come over here. But if you guys want to learn more or know more, drop it in the comments. I may do another one. I'm not sure. I may do another one just to see if maybe I'm missing something, but I think I hit everything on the nail thus far. Don't forget to push, tap, click that bell notification so that you can stay in the loop for whenever I release another video. And until next time, peace. Come on, but you want me home.